Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something that I've never done before and I never thought I'd ever do, and that is a book unhaul. I've recently been offered a publishing internship for the summer, and that means a lot of new books, and I honestly just do not have room for them, and so I am going to be moving out a lot this spring. All of the books that I am going to be showing you today, I'm going to be donating to my university's literary journal, Bags and Book Sale, happening on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of this month at the University of Connecticut. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The first book that I'm going to be moving out of my house this spring is The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. This is a religious novel. It is also fiction. I read this book a very long time ago when I was maybe 14 years old, and it was gifted to me by one of my boyfriend's younger sisters this past December, and even though it was a wonderful, thoughtful present, I don't need another copy of this book. I think that it will definitely make a better home on someone else's shelf. Another book that I honestly just have multiple copies of is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Such a beautiful, poignant story. It's recently been made into a Broadway play, and I could not rave about this book enough, but I just have so many copies. I don't know how this happens. I think it's a common book hoarder problem. The next book that I have is a memoir. It's Not That Kind of Girl. A young woman tells you what she's learned by Lena Dunham. I read about half of this book. I am a fan of Lena Dunham. I really enjoy Girls, but I wasn't all that crazy about the writing style. Maybe I'm just not as into Lena Dunham as a lot of other people are. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who really adore Lena Dunham, and so I would be happy to donate this knowing that someone out there would read about it and read the whole thing, unlike me. I also have Zoo by James Patterson. I read this book for a book club, I believe, sometime last year. Fast-paced novel, definitely a James Patterson book. And what I mean by that, you know, if you know James Patterson, you know his stories tend to be very fast-paced. They kind of jump all over the place in terms of timeline. In this particular book, the whole animal kingdom kind of rises up against the human kingdom. It kind of jumps all over a time span of like 15-20 years. There's a couple moments in the story where I really wasn't following the timeline, which is probably my biggest complaint about this book, but James Patterson does write a kind of book that really makes you like burn through those pages. So if you are into that kind of book, definitely look to this one. Next one that I have is a classic. It is The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashers. This is a book I read when I was a kid. I have not read it in years, but I decided to donate some of those books that I had as a child because you can't hang on to them forever. In my mind, I'm like, I'll give these to my daughter one day, but I have a lot of books and my daughter may not like the same kind of books that I liked, so tea break. The next book I have for you guys is a book that I read in my YA Lit class a couple of years back, and it is called Black Boy White School by Bryan F. Walker. I absolutely love this book. It stayed for me for years. It's basically about a young African American boy who goes to this prestigious Bryan Academy from East Cleveland, and he really struggles to fit in with the community there, and fighting also against the stereotypes associated with his race. But even more so and even more poignant is the reaction of his family back in East Cleveland when he returns from school, because at times it could be even harder to assimilate back into your own family after leaving them once than it was to go to the school. And it was just so good, and I really hope that I can share this book with someone and that they would love it as much as I do. The next 6 books I'm going to show you I decided to put together because they all sort of fall into the women's contemporary fiction category and are a type of book that I was very much into like 4 years back, and so I'm just going to rapid fire show them to you. In Her Shoes by Jennifer Weiner. I have Mr. Maybe by Jane Green. I have Rachel's Holiday by Marianne Keyes. I have Chasing Harry Winston by Lauren Weisberger, who also wrote the Devil Wears Prada series. Also have Little Black Dress by Susan McBride. And then lastly, I have The Jane Austen Marriage Manual by Kim Ezo. I I used to be very into reading this kind of book. It has a very kindred place in my heart, but at this point in my life, I've kind of moved on from that. I know that people really love reading this types of book, and honestly, they are my guilty pleasure, but I have way too many stacked up in my house. It's ridiculous. I just feel very nostalgic about them. I almost don't want to get rid of them, but I know that I have to make space. I also have The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. If you have been with my channel from the beginning, you might recognize this because it was in a book haul video. I have since read that book. I have also cried and hated it and thrown it, but it is still in pretty good condition. So I have decided to offer it up to the sale. Another YA fiction book that I have is a book that I actually never read, and it is with Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Nair, and it's called Off the Page. I actually got this book when I went to an intern conference at the Penguin Random House Quarters in New York City. I was just so excited to be at an actual publishing house that I just picked up all the books I saw on the table when they were like, take all the books you want. And so I was just so excited that I just like grabbed whatever I could, and I picked this up. In retrospect, probably wasn't for me. I do like Jodi Picoult as an adult author. I did start reading this and I just knew right away it wasn't my cup of tea. So I think that this is a good place to stop today. Most likely I am going to be donating a lot more books than what you see here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see what I'm going to be doing next. And if you are in the neighborhood of Connecticut, Boston area, definitely stop by the Bags and Book Sale. I will link some information about it down below. I hope you guys are enjoying this crazy weather if you are living in New England, and if not, I am so jealous of you. See you in another video. Bye!